Welcome, my friends, to the Hunter and the Beast DLC. And today, guys, we're back with an early access showdown featuring the Empire, who shall be led by Markus Wulfhart. And he's going to be facing off against the Lizardmen, who shall be led by his iconic foe, Nakai the Wanderer. So as far as the build goes, I know what you guys are here for. I know what you signed up for. It's going to be wagons. So we're going to be going with a bit of an Empire kite build. In the back, we do have a couple spearmen, of course. If things get messy, I can pull them up. I can screen out cav. But for the most part, we're going to be using some of the new units here from the DLC, which are the war wagons. So the war wagons are an incredibly awesome unit. If you look inside, you can see how many guys in total. It looks like there's 6 guys in there. And they have pretty good armor-piercing shots. It's basically kind of the same fire output as like Outriders, but again, not as many models. But what's really cool about the war wagons is they can kind of be used as a chariot unit. So in the late game, they have okay combat stats. I mean, it's not great, but 18, 12, and 26 weapon strength, and they still have pretty good mass. But yeah, these things are just so damn cool. They can shoot, they can fire while moving. So basically, just like in Jurassic Park or in the trailer, you can kite the big dinosaurs and shoot them while you're running. And I feel like they're going to be, I feel like they'll have a presence in the metagame. Now, against factions that have cannons, so like Vampire Coast or Dwarves, for example, or other Empire players, anyone that has like really direct, accurate fire cannons, war wagons are just going to be a non-factor. They're just going to get annihilated. But against factions that are a little bit more kind of bestial here, like the Lizardmen or the Beastmen, or factions that don't really have artillery pieces, I feel like war wagons are going to have some pretty good potential. So we have 2 of those, and you can see they have a lot of ammunition, 130 range, so pretty decent range, and 34 missile damage with good AP value. So they're just so damn awesome. But really, guys, the breadwinner, and I actually think probably the best unit in the new Empire DLC are the Black Lions. Now, normally units like this, so you're looking at the Luminarchs and the Arwar, for example, is going to be relatively just, I don't know, they seem to be mediocre. But the Black Lions, the War Wagon Hellblaster Arwar, is insanely good. So Hellblasters, they really suffer from range issues, but these guys are mobile. They have 50 speed, you can park them, and they hit like absolute trucks. I really do think that the Black Lions are going to be seen in a lot of competitive play. They're incredibly useful, they're mobile, and it really addresses the weaknesses of Hellblasters, which are the range and obviously mobility. But in this case, we're going to be opening up shop here, tearing into these skink skirmishers. You can see these guys are just going to be getting blasted. And I wanted to shoot some big dinos, but I'm like, you know what? It's free real estate. Let's take it. Let's have some fun. And you can see the Hellblaster shells are just tearing these dinos to pieces. Absolute brutality. So guys, I got to tell you, don't sleep on the Black Lions. They're very, very good. And I think they're going to have a ton of applications. Now, next we have his glorious master here, the Markus Wulfhart. So Markus Wulfhart is an absolute beast. And I think he's going to be very competitive. He's what... When a Lithanar wakes up in the morning and looks under his bed, he's afraid of Markus Wulfhart because he is just so much better than a Lithanar. So firstly, he has the Amber Bow, which is his activated item, and we're just going to pause here so we don't miss too much action. The Amber Bow hits like an absolute truck. Magical damage, pretty long range, good from a high angle, of course. Good against a large combatant, single combatant, so obviously you want to be using this against big dinos. That's his theme. He's the hunter of monsters, which makes him quite good against the dinosaurs. He does also have the focus shot, and this thing is a las cannon. This thing is an absolute monster. It does so much damage. So if you're able to hit with the focus shot, and that's the one you see him doing in the trailer when he like winds up his bow, but the focus shot plus the Amber Bow, you can nuke big targets. Now there is a little bit of a wind up time on it, but this one has to target single entities, but it is very good. On top of that, he does have a snare. So this is the one thing when I was talking about in the discussion video, I was like, oh, if Markus, what's going to make or break him is the fact if he has a snare. So he does have the Hunter snare. So this is an AoE snare, which is so good. So it's basically like a Nets of Ammontalk. It slows, it has 3 charges. It's very powerful, incredibly powerful. So he does also have another ability called Fleet-Footed, which gives him acceleration and speed when enemy presence in the ability range. So he gets a little bit quicker when people get close, but I'm telling you, 556 missile damage, a bonus first large of 120. This guy is an absolute beast. Markus Wulfhart, I think you're going to be seeing him in competitive play. And I think Empire definitely has a few options now in terms of the way it plays, whereas before it really just had to rely on like Demogryph Knight hammers and things like this, but Markus is really, really good. So for the Cav Corps, we do have the Royal Altdorf Griffites, and we do also have another group of Demogryph Knights with halberds, and we have 2 groups of Empire Knights. So the Empire Knights are going to be kind of hammering and harrying my opponent's forces while they get picked apart by the wagons and other threats. So for the forces of Dob plays and his Lizardmen, led by Nakai, he has skink skirmishers, front line of skinks, so just trying to go a little bit wide to not give me too many good targets, which is smart. Cohorts of Sotek, it looks like there are some Saurus in the back line, and Nakai, of course, who is absolutely heavy metal. So in case you missed the first video, Nakai has some really good buffs here, and there's so much stuff going on with the wagon, so I'm actually just going to be pausing this while we go over this. But right here, he does have the Primal Roar, which gives physical resist and melee attack. He does also have the Miasma of Despair. This is such a good ability. Lowers leadership, speed, so if heavy cav come in, you slow them down, it allows your troops to catch up to them, like your Croc scores. Because if you slow like Empire Knights by 24%, your Croc scores will catch them, which is crazy. He does also have one of the better items in the game, the Golden Tribute. So this gives perfect vigor to all nearby allies, which, you guys know how good perfect vigor is. In the back, he does also have Coldland Spear Riders, and the Skink Priest with Beast, going to be using Amber Spear and Manticore Summon, and he has the new and improved Sacred Croc scores, which I think are a good pick against Empire. They're a little bit more expensive. They're more of an all-rounder type unit. They're going to be better against bigger threats because they have higher melee attack and they don't rely on a bonus versus infantry, plus magic damage is always pretty cool. So yeah, these guys, these linebackers, going to be causing a lot of problems, I'm sure. So let's get the show on the road, guys, and see if the Empire's wagon builds can stop the dinosaur onslaught. So the wagons are going to be just rolling around looking for targets right now, and the Hellblaster volley gun's going to be shooting and just tearing into these guys, just doing brutal damage. I mean, I love that thing. Empire Knights on the far side get a little bit of a charge. I hammer in and get some pretty good value on the skinks, but yeah, this is Jurassic Park. I mean, just look at this onslaught of dinosaurs just chasing these Empire Knights. They're like, screw this, let's get out of here. So they're running right now, but the frontline harass is really just going hard. The Demogryph Knights are just kind of slamming into the front line, doing some pretty good work. And over here, the wagons are being kited, so they're shooting from the back as they're being chased by hordes of skinks. This is so great. Like, I love this. These wagons are such cool units. And Markus is going to be shooting in as well, and I believe he was going after croc scores or some other threats. So realizing that the dinos overextended a little bit over here, obviously wanting to pressure my wagons, I will be pulling in my Demogryph Knights and my hammer to really kind of put these guys down. Over here in the main lines, the Hammer of the Witches, or not the Hammer, the Hellblaster of the Witches, the Black Lions have just done a ton of damage against gang cohorts, just raining hell on those guys. And they're good against hordes, and it's also quite good against other targets. So Markus is going to be using a snipe ability right here. I tried to get a Skink Priest, but I accidentally wrapped it with my own troops. So unfortunately, it's going to be kind of messing that up a little bit. But in the back here, still falling back with the Empire Knights, trying to pull Dobbs' forces back into the spears, which hopefully will work out. But now things are going to get a little bit scary. The Feral Carnosaur is going to be coming in, who is a pretty good answer against my carts because it is faster, it has 75 speed. So Demogryph Knights, seeing this threat, are going to be rotating over. Markus Wulfhart's going to be shooting in as well. And the Amber Spear comes in, but does not finish off one of my RORs. So Markus just being so good. I'm able to get the net. So the Hunter's Snare is able to kind of net down this Carnosaur here. The utility for having a net on a character like him is so good. And the Demogryph Knight Hammer is going to be coming in, just huge damage coming in from Demogryph Knights. And you can also see in the back my carts are shooting in as well. So I have them all parked here, just, you know, Tokyo drifting about and certainly doing some pretty good damage. So Nakai is going to be coming in, but we are going to be shooting the Sacred Croc Scores. The Hellblaster Volley Gun Black Lion ROR here doing a ton of damage against those Sacred Croc Scores. And now we have a pretty messy fight. The Croc Scores are able to get in there, and they will hit my Demogryph Knights quite hard. So in sustained combat, Demis will be good against them, but it's going to be good right back. And now Nakai is here, so suddenly things are very messy. And you can see here that the Sacred Croc Scores plus the Manticore Summon spells a very, very bad situation for my Goon Squad here. So Demogryph Knights are taking huge casualties, World Altar Griffites are, they're afflicted by the Miasma of Despair, all kinds of scary stuff going on, but the wagons are staying firm and they're generating pretty steady value here into the Carnosaurs, but Dov, of course, being very aware of the threat here, is going to be pulling in the Carnosaurs and the Skinks to kind of pressure me. I also did bring a Light Wizard, so the Light Wizard, I have two sets of nets here. So one net is going to be dropping, pinning all these guys down, which really allows my wagons to kind of sit and shoot and do some really good damage against the Feral Carnosaur. In the back, Empire Knights are just fighting Skinks, nothing too exciting over there, and in the meantime, we have a big ugly blob over here. So I was able to pull his Cold Ones into my spears, but he's still going to be able to win that fight, but at the very least, we're occupying a huge amount of Dov's forces, which normally could be, of course, pressuring my wagons and causing some serious problems. So it looks like Markus Wulfhart going to be dropping his last cannon right here. Here comes the aim shot, and it's going to be going in, hunting the beast. And Nakai takes a huge amount of damage, just easily over 1,500 damage. And Markus unleashing another bow, just tearing apart this wild beast here. That's what he's designed to do, and man, he does it really good. So here we have the Demogryph Knights who are going to be coming in. Obviously, we have another issue here. Our wagons are a little bit occupied. So the wagons are going to be riding dirty, shooting their handguns, Skinks flying across the screen, absolute anarchy in every direction. But now it's going to be really, really scary because a huge force of Dobbs is coming in. The Cold One Knights, all these troops are going to be surging in and really doing a ton of damage against my Demogryph Knights here. But don't rest on the wagons, guys. The wagons are going to be pulling back. Nakai actually gets terrorized by the Royal Altar Griffites, which is a little bit, I mean, come on, he wouldn't be scared of those guys. But unfortunately, guys, my ROR wagon here, the Black Lions are having to go, and they can't shoot while they're moving. They have to be stationary, so basically you have to reposition this thing. But yeah, Dov is able to get some Skinks on that, which is really unfortunate. In the meantime, our wagons are trying to ram Nakai, but they're also shooting with their AP missiles, which is going to be relatively good against him. And here I am going to be dropping the Hunter's Net. So I pop Rona's Time Warp to give some speed, which is going to allow my forces to get away. And I also do use the Hunter's Net on the Cold One Spear Riders in this very, very big blob here. So that's going to allow my Demogryph Knights to kind of pull back a little bit. I basically just have to wait out this Manticore, which is, of course, a summoned unit. And Nakai's getting a little bit danger low. But guys, Markus is on it. Here comes another bow shot. I believe he's going to be aiming here in a second, going after Nakai. Nakai is so low. He has like 800 HP, but Lizardmen have such good leadership. Very good play there by Dov. He is able to use that. Oh, but here comes the bow. Markus with the snipe, and down goes Nakai. Glorious, glorious hunt for Markus Wulfhart as he is able to take down the beast. Now back into the main fight, we have Spearmen, we have the Royal Altar Griffites. Our wagons are still going pretty strong. You know, they're somewhat durable. I mean, they have terrible melee defense, but their HP pool is high and their armor is 90, so that's no joke. On top of that, the Hellblaster volley gun, it's trying its best to get away, but you can see here the skinks are hunting it down relatively efficiently, so I haven't been able to shoot it too well, but I will be pulling in some reinforcements here in a moment to kind of help out a little bit. But now Markus is going after the Feral Carnosaur, and he does slay that beast as well. What an absolute awesome, just an awesome character here. So let's go ahead and take a look at some of his attack animations as he will be shooting here in a moment. I think he's going to be going after skinks, but look how cool that looks. Yeah, I was trying to use it on something, but I think, yeah, there he goes. And it has huge penetration as well, so I think I was trying to snipe out these skink priests back there. So the carts are going to be coming in, the glorious Empire wagons running over these Lizardmen, and man, I have to say, I think I'm just going to be playing so much Empire. Like, their builds, the builds you can bring with them are so wacky. Now, some of the other new units that you guys did not see in this battle, like the Huntsmen and the Archers, both have pretty good applications in factions like against Vampire Coast and things like that, because they're really cheap. They cost like 350. Over there's going to be an Amber Spear coming into my carts, but the carts are able to pull back and are out of ammunition for the most part, but they still should be pretty good at kind of ramming skinks and things like that. And I've actually played a lot of battles, and I've had pretty good success with them as like a chariot unit as well. So we're a little bit tied up here, and the balance power is actually ebbing back towards the middle as the Lizardmen forces are able to kind of surround me, and I am running out of ammunition, so things are getting a little bit scary there, but thankfully the brave Spearmen of Sigmar are able to fend off the Coldland Spear Riders, and my Hellblaster cart is able to shoot downtown and just tear apart the Skink Priest. In the meantime, Markus was being hunted himself by skink cohorts, and it looks like some the cohort of Sotek, yeah, that's no joke. So I do pop the Hunter's Net to kind of get away there, get some separation, and get him back to his troops. You know, in the style of Karl Franz, bring him to his men, he'll be okay. But the Hellblaster in the back, just tearing apart that Skinkcaster is huge, getting rid of a heroic unit. And as far as ammo, I have a couple volleys left, and yeah, still generating some really good value. So on the ground, the chariots are coming, and they're 100% out of ammo, so these guys just have to kind of stand there as the carts, but they're still, you know, aiming their rifles just to look cool. But Empire Knights are coming back from their far crusade. They were actually battling some skinks up at the top of the map, but they're going to be coming in here, getting a beautiful charge. Obviously, skinks are the ideal target for Empire Knights. Empire Knights do pretty good damage against light armor, and skinks are very lightly armored, but I have to tell you guys, the Limp Bizkit build, the rollin', the carts, the Black Lions, the War Wagons, I think they're going to have pretty good utility. Now, I'm still not 100% sold on the efficacy of the War Wagons, the basic variant. I think they're good and a bit of a disruption tool, but in terms of like being a really competitive unit, I do think the Black Lions ROR is going to be really good. I mean, the kills on this thing, it got 84, but it was able to hammer high-value targets like all day and just do great work. Markus is going to be coming in with his bow, and let's see some of his up-close animations. Looks like he gets his sword out, and oh, look at that. He pulls out the sword, shoots his bow. He's just getting super busy. And I also think Markus is going to be competitive as well, which is really cool. I'm glad that the new DLC Lord is actually going to be good for both factions. Nakai didn't really get to show his mettle in this, but you guys saw the video I put up a couple days ago. Nakai can be an absolute monster. His buffs are good. Perfect Vigor is good. He has good AoE debuffs, good AoE buffs. I mean, Nakai is a great frontline support character and a pretty good duelist to boot. But Markus Wulfhart is, he's got a beard. Man, he looks like he's from Kislev too. I feel like, if any of you guys know the lore, like, where is he from? Is he a Kislevite? I mean, his accent didn't really sound like he would be, but nonetheless. The cards are a pretty good disruption tool, and I do think that in a multitude of matchups in which the Empire has to face off against rushes, so for example, if you're facing off against Beastmen or Lizardmen, or, you know, these factions that aren't really powder-focused, but are more going to be swarming over your elements, you're going to be able to kite pretty effectively with the War Wagons, because if you support the War Wagons with Royal Turfgrifites and Demogryph Knights and peel for them, and then continue to kite, you can use them in the late game to run over like Ungor herds and skinks and Saurs pretty effectively. They actually get quite a few kills. Markus is pretty good as well. Of course, he's on foot, which is a little bit scary, but with the Hunter's net and his speed buff that he does get when enemies are near, he's going to be pretty hard to get his paws on, and even if they do, they're going to be getting shot by all your wagons and your other threats, and I think there's going to be some very serious builds with Markus that are very dependent on netting and, you know, using the wagons and all that good stuff. But yeah, incredibly awesome. I think War Wagons are good. Again, I'm not 100% sold on them being as like a staple of competitive play, but I think there are going to be niche applications for them. And yeah, the AP on them is really nice. They were able to actually punish Nakai a little bit. But really, the Black Lions ROR, the War Wagon Hellblaster is just an ace of a unit. It is so good, and you guys are going to love it. Now, mind you, it's very expensive. The Black Lions do cost 1,800 gold, so it's certainly no joke. Like, if you get compromised or it gets caught, you're going to probably lose the game. But if you're able to kind of protect it, obviously in the hands of a good player, using like Demogryph Knights to kind of screen and nets, it's going to generate some pretty good value for you. So, and yeah, as far as Dobbs Force goes, it was good. It had numbers, it had width, but I think one mistake he made was using the Coldland Spear Riders to kind of over pursue on those Empire Knights, and they fought over there for a good like 2 minutes. Had those guys been really engaged in the main fight, like pressuring while the rest of his force was pressuring on my wagons, I could have been in some trouble for sure. So I think it was just a little bit of a change there, but yeah, it was a really good game. So please make sure to check out Dob Plays over on YouTube. There'll be a link in the comment section below, and hopefully you guys enjoyed this glorious, glorious wagon build in which Markus Wulfhart was able to conclude his hunt and take out the Foul Beast. So thanks again for watching, guys, and we'll see you next time. Take care.